Lost my camera, boys. I just want to get it back. 2 seconds. Not sure what's going on there. Let me delete that. Add a new game catcher. I think we're all good to go. Wow. What a day in the market. Getting a little bit, gotta be honest here, some of my trades are in trouble. So we're talking about, I mean, one of my trades is doing really well. That's Aussie Kiwi, right? That's fine. Right, but the other trade I did this morning after the news came out was short Aussie Kiwi. And by God, is the Kiwi just, you know, next time I tell you this, guys, all the time, stop me trading the Kiwi. It's just got a mind of itself. It's such a nutter of a currency. So Aussie's going ballistic, but the Kiwi is also having a sharp reversal as the US dollar weakness is just too much for the sellers of the Kiwi to handle, and the Kiwi now is threatening to break its key levels. So it's looking to get back to fresh highs. And it's got its own last year highs as well to deal with soon. So the Kiwi is probably going up here. You can't really suggest that we're going lower. It's just what's going down faster, dollar yen or the Kiwi. And at the moment, dollar yen's holding. Now, why is dollar yen holding? Well, stocks are holding. So it's like, well, this is bad news that Trump can't get his things passed, but the market's not really playing it like that just yet in the stock market. So I've sold a little bit of stocks. DAX is going down, but that's probably a little bit more to do with the euro going up, making the valuation of the DAX a little more expensive in US dollar terms. And the Aussie going up is hurting the ASX. Let's bring the ASX across. Alright, but the lack of selling in US stocks is making me think, and I don't usually try and sell the stock market, right? I mean, it's very natural when the market's gone one way for so long since Trump got in that you'll be looking for reasons to sell, and this seemed to be a fairly good reason to sell. We'll see what happens in the US session tonight. I'm not sure why they're so optimistic about this news. It seems to me like if Trump can't pass a repeal of Obamacare, then definitely he can't pass his tax plan. So in that regard, you know, we've really got to see if that follows through. If the Dow Jones doesn't sell off, then dollar yen's going to continue to find support on dips a little, and so it's a slow grind higher, very slow, like the euro grind up. Now the pound's been hit by weak CPI numbers, and so it's taken some of the wind out. We've got some key level 130. If we get back below 130, you have to be looking at the market going a little bit lower here, because a big story with the pound is that Bank of England is going to be raising sooner rather than later, and if inflation mediates, then Carney's got a free pass to wait out the Brexit negotiations, see how they pan out first, and yeah, that's a pretty powerful story. And definitely, if dollar yen's going down, you know the punters love selling pound yen, and pound yen's looking a little toppy now. So this could become a trade, guys, selling pound yen. Perhaps a trade we should get into. I don't mind a bit of pound yen, actually. Ooh, I'm not going to sell 3 lots though. There we go. So I don't mind selling a little pound yen. Probably could have waited for a little bounce, but wait for a bounce of dollar yen. Can sell dollar yen as well. I suspect that stocks are going down, so that's a little bit of a play on the pound yen about stocks going down. So I'm not too worried about that. I'd be very surprised if stocks manage to rally again today. And then you just got to bite the bullet and suggest that, you know, you need a bigger catalyst for the stock market to be sort of be paused. And what that would be, at the moment, it's not North Korea, it's not, you know, Qatar, it's not Trump. So what would it be? You know, have to be. I mean, it's not Trump's emails either. So it's like, well, what can hurt this guy? What can hurt this stock market? It's pretty perplexing. It's a bit of a noggin scratcher. And I keep on trading in anticipation of the risk off. So, you know, Aussie ASX is falling, Nikkei is falling, DAX is a little bit toppish, but the US is just not giving anything. So the Dow is just holding up like a champ. In terms of this Aussie rally, a little bit of weak US dollar, breaking multi-year highs, and Chinese data spurring an iron ore rally in the last couple of days. has led to this capitulation by the shorts. This is the first time we've seen Aussie move in a long time aggressively. For 2 years it's been in a sideways range. So we go on a daily, you'll see what I'm talking about here. That was really, really poor sort of price action. This is in the midst of some big news as well. Sticking to these ranges very, very stubbornly. We've broken that 77.50 and then we broke that 78.30. So now we've got a lot of open air to 80 cents. And whether it's going to stop, probably not. Probably 80 cents will be a little bit of a speed bump, that's for sure. Yeah, but you remember the Canadian dollar, right? It went from 130. Imagine 80 cents is Aussie dollars 130, and then you know you can easily just kick past it. RBA today, the RBA minutes didn't really give anything for the market to pause back either. So there wasn't too much. There's really hard to sell the Aussie right now, and that's unless stock markets sell off and you get some Aussie yen selling, then Aussie is the strongest pair in the market for the last 2 weeks, and that's good if you're long Aussie Kiwi. In fact, my Aussie Kiwi is nearing some sort of. Actually, I have to let it run. Right, just got so much momentum here. We'll see. We'll target the original target. 109.80, 109.60. Yeah, GJ Scalpel was a little bit of a lunatic though, so I can understand why he got a, he's just a little too negative, yeah. I don't know why he's, I mean, I never saw any trade calls from him that suggested he knew what he's doing, so a little bit of knowledge and you get a little crazy, right, in the market. Maybe he's just had a couple of good months and he's the king of trading. It will be humbled. All those guys with egos, they get humbled. The ego is your biggest battle in the market. It's when you're making a lot of money, and you think it's too easy, and you see anyone else losing, then you sort of, it's easy enough to break your own rules. And at some point, these traders are going to have some down periods, drawdown periods, and then if they have that, then maybe the market will humble. It's just no need. There's just no need to be ultra arrogant in the market. Probably for some it takes a lot more humbling than others. You might have to blow your account up 5 or 6 times. But yeah, you got to be careful that when you're making a lot of money, that you check yourself here. In regards to what we're going to play now, I mean, you want to be long euro, you want to be short dollar yen. In general, you probably want to be long the pound on dips, given the US dollar sell-off, and it's very hard to fight this Aussie dollar right now. And the Kiwi dollar and the Canadian dollar. Perhaps 80 cents on the Aussie dollar if you really want to try and look for an overbought situation. Have a little stab there selling. But even if you're selling there, how much pips are you going for? You're going for 50 pips? Okay, that's a pretty dangerous trade, right? Risking 50 pips to make 50 pips because you probably have your stop at 80.50. It looks compelling on paper, but if it's a 50-50, it's not the best trade in the market. And so, yeah, 80 cents isn't a big resistance just because it's there. It's just a target, and it can be trampled if the US dollar's getting crushed enough. Alright, so be careful here, guys. Be very careful. Counter trend is not your friend. You have to really be looking to get long against the US dollar as quickly as possible. The CPI numbers from New Zealand today, combined with the jawboning yesterday, I understand why a lot of traders sold, and I understand why I sold. But obviously you got to respect the price action. If the market is sharply higher, with Kiwi yen short here, then you got to keep your risk management tight. Yeah, taking a break from the market every 3 months. More. I work in the market, so it's hard. I can't. I take a break when I take a break. When I take a break, I come back. I've got I fall out of sync with the market. I hate that. I actually hate that. I hate missing days. 1 or 2 days, and I mean, if you missed a week now, you'd be like, what has happened? Yeah. And naturally, you'll come back in trying to. Your recency bias will be that the market's going back to where it came from. So if you took a week off and last time you looked at the Aussie was 77 and you come back at 80 cents, your natural instinct's going to be to sell when we should be looking to buy. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how the stock market develops here. Let's have a little review of European analysts, bank research, see what they suggest is the, let's see if we're missing something here in this puzzle as to why the US dollar can be sold on negative news, but the US stock market is holding up. Could be something there that we're missing. In terms of the US 10-year, let's have a look if it's below the 2.3. It was holding in Asia, but it might have broken. So far in Europe. Let's have a look. So 2.3 is this key level for the dollar yen. Ooh, just at the figure still, guys. Just at the figure. We can't get any help here from the US 10-year. It's having to think too. It's just like the dollar yen. Are we going low or are we not? Literally, that's that pop higher at the start of Europe in the dollar yen. If you jumped across and saw it, you would be that's same candle. Aussie's just relentless. I was looking at buying Aussie here. I bought a tiny bit actually this morning. Got stopped out. I thought I was killing it, and then geez, that was. Look at the daily on this now. Yeah, this is turning pretty bearish very quickly. And this was one of the trades which made the most sense to go up over time. The euro was normalizing, RBA is not. A couple of Chinese stories, a couple of Canadian rallies leading the way for the market here. Break on the technical, break on the Aussie. This has really turned into, a meltdown here. So this dip here was, sort of the concern point. This is 150 that failed. And now as it came back down, this was always a little bit sketchy, this zone. That perhaps the uptrend was going to be challenged and we're going to go sideways. But now it looks like we are going lower. And while there is some support coming, you really can't rely on it too much. Yeah, it's not there yet. I mean, I understand the trade medium term. I really understand the long Euro Aussie medium term, but you need China to falter, and it's just not faltering. And the closer we get to 2018, the closer we are to the RBA turning a little bit more hawkish. So the timeline for the euro to rally to 120 and the Aussie to struggle is not looking like that's the case, right? The Aussie's broken to the top side. That means that the whole long-term trade, we talked about this trade a few times actually, on the way up here especially, and then on the dip. This is developing very negatively, and we've got to respect that. But the long euro trade, for those who got in on that dip, didn't really get to that 114 level that we're looking for early in the week. Only got to 114.40. But those who are bullish or still long from way back, this is looking pretty strong here. And the capitulation on the euro might be happening sooner than later. Like we were talking about waiting for the ECB and Draghi. The ball's going to be pushed straight into Draghi's court now. Draghi has to respond. And, if we're at 117 by Thursday, you can imagine there's going to be a lot more pressure on him. A lot more pressure on him to be a bit more dovish than he would have been if we were still at 114. Because if he has any intention of controlling the Euro's rally, he has to start doing it sooner rather than later. So that would be via delaying the taper talk. You know, saying the market's got ahead of itself. We have no intention of tapering this year. Something like that would really rip the heart out of the Euro rally. And Draghi's definitely capable of that, guys. He's although he says he doesn't target the Euro, it's pretty clear if you've been watching him for the last couple of years that he's pretty happy with himself when the market reacts to the downside. Alright, so we do have to be bit alert, a little bit alert. On that note, let's have a look at the ECB preview here. Yeah, long Euro Kiwis is very similar to the long Euro Aussie. I'm happy you made money. That's a pretty tricky one as well. The Euro Aussie is rolled down, but the Euro Kiwi, it's been so volatile. So volatile in the last 24 hours. And you can't expect it to lag the Aussie too much. Remember, the Aussie's broken its key levels and the Kiwi hasn't. So yeah, the Euro Kiwi did well. It was obviously the better choice this morning as well for me, but I was attracted to the Aussie. Bit silly. Well, they're expecting a little bit of easing bias to be taken out of the statement. And if they remain upbeat, then the Euro's going to go up. It's going to be harder and harder for Draghi to come across dovish. And this is the 10-year, right? The German. Definitely if yields continue higher, then we are going to see alright, so 10-year yields rose by 30 basis points and the Euro exchange rate rose by 2%. And it's got a lot more room to move, guys. If they do what these guys recommend, and this is a European bank that's giving this as well, Credit Agricole, yeah, the Euro will be challenging 120 in the next couple of weeks. If he continues to be upbeat and if he changes the language to be more hawkish, he won't be able to say anything to get the market not buying the Euro. So could be something left of that. Should have sold a little bit of that, Jenny. That would have been nice. So you wait until it's... I wonder what your technical system is. One day you got to do a little interview, do a little share the stream with us. Because I see that you entered here, then you entered here. Looking at your post now. So I wonder what your indicator is at that point, at this point here, and at this point here that you keep selling. I'm always interested in other people's technical strategies. It's there's some definitely good ones out there, that's for sure. And the more mechanical they are, the easier they are to sort of teach. But if there's a lot of subjectivity in your trading as well, so you use your experience to pick which entries you get into, then obviously it's much harder to replicate. And Yeah, so you can, some technical systems can look very simple, but when you try to replicate them, they just become a lot harder. And that's human error. Well, I mean, the human factor in technical trading is huge. The edge that you get from your own sort of selecting which trades to take is and your experience in the market is big. Knowing when to step away from the market as well. Alright, so we've done the credit alcohol. Asymmetric risk. SocGen saying asymmetric risk for the euro on Thursday. Pretty much. Yeah, I think it's I think it is risky to the downside too. So I think it's I'd be taking profit, that's for sure. All right, long euro trades are crowded. Okay. We talked about the pound earlier, manager. It's still in an uptrend, but it's pretty threatened by this. You wouldn't want the euro to stall as well. You wouldn't want some good US dollar news along the lines of, Republicans feel they can repeal Obamacare next week, or have the numbers to repeal. I mean, they've basically dropped the repeal and replace aspect. That's what the US dollar is selling in Asia today. But they're going to try again next week for the repeal bill, and maybe a small win would be enough. US dollar's been knocked around a lot, so there is a chance for the pushback, and ECB would be as good a time as any if you do get that pushback. BOJ as well, same day. So Thursday's shaping up as the key sort of inflection point this week. But the pound today is on the ropes a little. If it survives and it stabilizes for the next couple of hours, buyers will come back in. Pretty short memory in the market these days. So I wouldn't be too worried if you're long. I think the shorts from below 130 are still more concerned than the longs above 130. That's my take on the pound anyway. Like, what's weaker, the US dollar or the pound? Probably the US dollar. Do we think the US dollar will come down anytime soon? I mean, the US dollar is, the Euro USD is, I mean, it might come down a little bit on Thursday, but even that dip, right, say Draghi talked it down, that's where the battle begins, because pretty sure a lot of buyers will come in and buy the dip. Right, you need to be really careful if you're looking to sell the euro, right? I mean, you have to make a pretty strong case. And I wouldn't sell just because it's at those higher levels, because if it capitulates at these levels, the sellers capitulate, then we're going a lot higher very quickly, to the point of hundreds of pips, guys, not 50 pips. In fact, it could be happening now. So if you're looking to sell today, just be wary that 115 is a big level, and if you've ever seen the euro do a melt up before, and if you've been trading for more than 5 years, you probably saw a couple already where it can go 200 or 300 pips in a day. All right, that's happened fairly regularly, at least once every 2 years on the euro. And that's really when the big stops get hit. You see that move. So yeah, it is not safe at all to go sniffing around selling. I'll get punchy right now. Aussie dollar, Jesus Christ! Like, we might test 80 cents today. The ATR on the Aussie is only like 60, 70 points. It's already done 2 ATRs today. So it's a big mover so far. This is huge compared to its daily movement. So 80 cents, probably it's enough, right? If you do get a crazy move, guys, there is money to be made at the end of the crazy move. So you keep a number in your head, right? So for me, a crazy move on the euro would drag the Aussie above 80 cents, right? But those sort of reversals happen where it's fairly quick, and when it's over, so it might be 15 minutes of madness where you see sharp moves and it's really punchy price action. Then the Aussie also takes stops above 80 cents, and then it'll fail, probably towards 80.50, and then it might drop all the way back down to 79.50, and the euro might drop a couple 100 points as well, or 150 points. So when I'm saying if you want to sell, like I'm talking here is dangerous, but at 117, 117.50, 118, and that may sound crazy talk, but I'm being serious, because this is capitulation time for the euro. Then it could be some good selling up there. Same with 80, 80.50 on the daily. We're talking today, right? Or early Asia tomorrow. That's another time the market does this crashy sort of price action. After the US session closed tomorrow, where's low liquidity, that's the easiest time to take stops. Okay, so keep that in your mind as well. And I fully expect there to be a full melt up in the euro at some point in the next week. So when it happens, we'll talk about it and how we could have made money from it, and how long it lasted, and how far it got to. But we're talking 100 pips in 1 minute sort of move. That's the capitulation trade. In terms of these stops though from way back, let's have a look at those highs from last year. Okay. So probably to around about 117.50-ish would be what I would expect to be the sharp move. That we had one on that day. That was crazy that day. And then you had that sharp reversal. So we're talking way back now. 2015, if you remember that day, the market was 114 at the start of the European session. I think it was 114.50. It got as high as 117.10, 20, and then straight back down for the rest of the selling didn't stop. So that was a huge one-day move. That one. That was one day candle there. So how big's that? That's 114 to 117. So yeah, something like that probably is going to happen soon. Fun times to be alive. Fun times to be a currency trader. And a lot of accounts around in the retail market getting blowed up right now, and will be if this goes up. If this goes up for sure. And look, if you have blown up your account in the last 24 hours, or if you do in the next 24 hours because you're holding drawdown, just use that as a learning experience. This is why we need stops. Maybe 80% of the time you don't need stops, and you can always massage your exit to be better. And it's very easy to sleep soundly when you don't have stops. But days like this and weeks like the last week are why we have stops, guys. So I really encourage you to always put a stop on your trade. Pretty much no exceptions. Maybe some sort of hedging order, but that's another story. So that message I think has got through. In terms of how we rant always about the dollar yen and the 10-year, little article on that. So dollar yen's correlated with the 10-year, but so is, you know, in the same game, same time that yields have been rising around the world, so have the European yields. That's why euro yen did so well. At the moment, the competition between the euro rally and the dollar yen sell-off, euro looks like it's winning that. Now that's because stocks aren't falling. If stocks fall, dollar yen will probably win that battle. So euro yen can continue to grind higher here. So this is just crazy close movement on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis. US 10-year and US... right, but really the 10-year spread's a bit more. The spread between Japan and US. And then when you make it the real yield spreads, which you take out inflation, so in real, when you talk about real, you talk about inflation adjusted, then dollar yen and the 10-year real spread is extremely close. So I didn't just make it up, guys. It's like a thing that we've always used, but for a fair bit of time it wasn't yields that were moving the market. It was stock markets. Yeah, but now it's all about the yields. Risk on, risk off is sort of dead. Well, it's definitely not what you look to first. I would look to the 10-year yield chart before I look at the stock market chart now, which is something big for the dollar yen. So you can see the same thing holds for the bonds. So when you're trading the yen, it's all about the you know, the underlying. This is why the yen's just left behind, because Japan's not moving their rates anytime soon. So BOJ is usually a non-event because they don't change their tune. If they do change their tune at all, then expect some big moves there. Maybe one more, guys. I think I've preached enough. If you're not in, it's very hard to buy here as well, right? You can't be buying this high. But it's very, very hard to sell to, unless we get a capitulation. Let's have a look at some of the technicals though, since the market's moved so much. And you know, you got to keep your eye on those longer term trades. Alright, so where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
Is that a broker, or who do you guys do?
1 second, but second. Do you have computer passing your manager?
Alright, so you got my details somehow. Yeah, I'm interested in financial trading, that's for sure, but I don't need another broker. I'm sorry.
Do you have computer?
Do I have a computer? Yeah, I'm on the computer right now. I'm trading right now, so I'm a little busy.
Very busy?
Very busy, very busy.
I'm calling you later?
Look, if you're from a broker, just send me
Okay.
the information, yeah? I don't really need anything, yeah?
Okay. Oh.
I've been trading for a long time. I don't really need... Yeah?
I'm calling you later. I'm calling you later. Do you have a computer? I'm passing you to Mr. Manager, okay? I'm calling you later.
I'm in front of the computer now, though. Just tell me the name of your company, yeah?
Online trading, I'm passing you to Mr. Manager, everything, the site, okay?
Yeah, I'm at the computer. What's the name of your website?
I'm passing you to Mr. Manager. So what's
Okay.
that?
Yeah?
Okay? I'm passing you to Mr. Manager.
Okay. Alright. Well, look, I don't know. It doesn't sound very good. I'll have to get back to you. Maybe email your results, yeah?
No. I'm passing you to Mr. Manager.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that means. My constant my constant, I don't know, I think I'd signed up to, you know, a couple of binary brokers that went bust, or a couple of forex brokers that went bust, and you know, it's I get now, I think every new broker is buying the same list or something, and also investment places trying to sell their trading signals and things like that. So that's a pretty constant. Oh Jesus. Alright, just quickly, we'll be very quick with him. Alright, so how can I help you?
Hello, good evening.
Yes? Very good. Much better English. I love it.
It's Nina Solo.
Yes? And
I'm the VIP account manager in this brokerage firm, and this phone call just passed me by my assistant James.
okay.
James told me that you showed some interest in online trading. Is that true?
I'm trading right now. Okay, I really
You're trading, very good. How
Yes.
is that? How is that experience going for you? Are you making some profit?
yes, very good, thank you. Making a lot of money.
Oh, very good. You're trading forex or binary?
Trading forex. What do you guys offer?
Forex, a very good choice. Very good choice. Listen, I don't like binary, and I'll never ever suggest it to anyone because I
fantastic.
don't know a single person who has made money trading binary. Okay?
Me either.
So
Me
since
either.
you're dealing with forex, you've done the right choice.
Sure.
Now I don't know. Do you have a computer nearby you? I would like to show you an opportunity that we are having in the market for this month. It's
Okay.
about the S&P
I've got my charts up.
project.
I've got my charts up right now. Do you have the trade that you're looking at?
I beg your pardon?
I've got my charts open right now. Do you have the trade that you're thinking about?
Okay, let me have a look into your chart and let's see what we can do. But first of all, I'd like to know something. With which company you're trading at the moment?
I'm trading with FXCM.
FXCM, very good. In fact, I'm calling from Richmond FG. We are part of FXCM group, but this branch of ours is only for our new traders, and it makes possible for them to trade the biggest market with the smallest margin. You understand?
I understand.
Very good. Now, that's why I would like to show you the project and the promotion that we are having. But first of all, I want to know whether you have a program in your computer which is called TeamViewer or AnyDesk. Do you have that program?
Yeah, I do. I'm not giving you my team viewer though.
Okay.
I just want to hear your trade call, and that way can I get your trade call, and then I can have a look at it.
Okay. You continue with the trades, and I give you a call in half an hour. Is that okay for you?
No. Just tell me a trade to look at now, and then if it's good, I'll listen to you next time. Okay?
right
Yes.
now at the market.
Yes.
And I give you a call in half an hour.
Okay. Are we selling or are we buying?
I beg your pardon?
Are we selling or buying the S&P futures? I
We're
want to.
buying.
You're buying? Jesus.
Yes.
All right. Probably gonna work. I was gonna sell. It isn't a strong trend though, isn't it?
Open the technical chart. Take a look at the candlesticks. Take a look at the uptrends and everything, and we will discuss it in half an hour.
All right. All right. Thanks
Okay,
again.
see you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Pick up the phone and be in front of the computer. Bye-bye.
Did she say she was part of FXM? That's hilarious. Yeah, so yeah, I get that a fair bit. I don't know what they're expecting there. That's a pretty low probability call, I expect. Sort of unsolicited. But yeah, I think they're working off a script. That's why she can't really give me the trade. And maybe they have a trader there, and if we get past her in half an hour, then the trader calls back. So, yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, no. Yeah, you got to be careful in the game, right? You got to be careful who calls you. If they dodge any question about who they are, where they are regulated, and what's name, you know, it's just straight up, yeah, move on. So, we'll see, but yeah, that's hilarious. Hopefully that happens again, because that's it seems to be a new broker every week though. So we'll see how that we'll see if we can get more on record. Alright guys, well I think we've gone through the market enough here. Just keep an eye on the US Open, see if the stocks roll down, otherwise the sell-off in dollar yen is going to be slow. The buying in the euro is reaching capitulation sort of mode, so the sellers have to be really careful here that you don't get stuck in a clean out, which is 100 pips in 1 minute. Stability in the pound, especially if the euro is going higher, would result in the uptrend continuing. Very hard to know how high the Aussie can get. On a daily basis it's stretched already, but given the backdrop of the euro maybe capitulating, then you might see the Aussie test 80 even on today. Last time, like when the euro capitulates, everything goes, right? Everything moves 50, 60 points higher quickly as the euro shoots higher, and that's really what you got to be worried about here. And it definitely can happen before the ECB. I didn't think it would, but given the price action today, it's definitely a big risk now, because the sellers are just, the only selling going on right now is profit taking in the euro. There's not many people who are going to bet against that move right now. There's just no reason to. Pre-ECB, right? There's just no reason to. So profit taking is the only thing slowing it down. In those sort of markets, clearing out an order book is pretty easy to do. So stops will be getting closer. Alright guys, good luck with your trades. Be very careful on today like today. If you're going to go counter trend, try to stick with the trends. And tomorrow we'll be back. Actually not tomorrow, because tomorrow I've got a corporate drinks thing. But on Thursday and Friday we'll be going over the carnage, and Thursday in particular is an important day, so hope I see you all here Thursday, 19 GMT. Thanks guys. Not 19 GMT, 19 Sydney time. I will get you the updated GMT time. Two hours after entry. Alright guys, see you on Thursday.